how's the dating scene?
What is this whole world like? I get to see it and I get to hear it, so pretty bad. I would love to be more positive. I'm a positive person. I'm that person that's at the end of the world. I'm like, at least we're together. I'm just that peppy person. I try to see the glass is half, full instead of half empty, but not everyone feels like that. I've just been in kind of the dating space for so long. I've seen it, I call it BC, before COVID, and then after COVID is very different. I think before COVID, people were really looking for a partner. They were looking to find someone, but they were also really excited to go out and just have new experiences, even if they didn't find that perfect match. I always say after COVID, because COVID really hit a lot of people emotionally and mentally really hard. I don't really feel like we ever got out of that mentally in some aspects. A lot of people are still kind of dealing with the after effects of it, especially because of work from home. Work from home, I think, is amazing. I love it, those aspects of my job. But if you don't already have that support network of family, friends, even other single people that are encouraging you to get out there and find someone, it's very lonely. I've seen loneliness go through the roof, depression, anxiety. Social anxiety is really bad, especially with young men. I mainly work with mostly young men, or men, I would say 30s. If you're working from home 20, 30, 40 hours a week, and you only go out with two guys that are your friends maybe a couple times a month,
Yeah.
that's not social interaction. You're not getting the flirtiness, the hidden cues without even talking. Our body language says so much. You're not even getting that if you're not around women. When you take that office space away and you are already kind of socially awkward or just had a hard time just communicating with other people, it's going to make it 100 times worse. I don't see as much flirting anymore. I don't see much more like, I don't want to say aggression, but just go-getter kind of attitude, especially from men. From women, I hate to say this, but I gotta be honest. I don't like Debbie Downers. If you have a really bad experience in the dating scene, or everybody's been hurt, has heartache, everybody has that one ex that's horrible, but carrying that around is going to pull in all that negative, yucky energy, and you're just going to be like, oh, well, one bad apple, they're all bad. I really wish women would be more positive and have an open mind. Try someone new, try something new. For men, I wish that they would actually, build some more confidence, but I don't want to say that too much because then I would be out of a job. Don't build confidence and come to me.
What are your go-to for like? How do you even define what's having confidence?
There's two parts. Obviously, that outside part is the part of going up to someone, talking to them, being able to talk to anybody. I say you can talk the pants off of anybody and make them feel comfortable. It's more about their feelings versus your feelings. But the confidence really comes from within. And if you're not really seeing those great parts of yourself and what makes you sparkly you, and you're really in love with yourself, a lot of people aren't in love with themselves. That's the core of self-esteem and confidence. If you don't have that, it's going to be very hard for somebody else to like you and become, enamored by you. Everybody wants that sparkly love and the first moments of someone falling in love or just lusting after you. You can't get that if you're not thinking, oh my God, I am the best thing since apple pie. I don't know what I can say and can't say, so I'm trying to be very careful.
Oh, say whatever you want. Go for it.
But yeah, if you think you're the shit, then everyone else is going to think you're the shit. If you don't think that and you're not really sexually happy with yourself and in love with yourself and think you're the sauciest, spiciest person, no one else is going to want it. I think a lot of it comes down to just your inner feelings of how you feel about the good and the bad about yourself, which a lot of us don't do that work.
How do you get there? Well, how do you build yourself up to feeling like you're the hottest, sauciest being walking in?
A lot of it starts with, unfortunately, like dismantling our traumas, especially from past relationships and childhood. Again, I'm using the example of, a lot of the young men that I work with. When you're watching other people get into relationships, be happy, all the guys are watching other guys just get girl after girl, and they're just like, I just want one girl. I just want to get laid. A lot of people aren't even able to do that. I think there was some study that younger men, like none of them have gotten laid in a year, 18 to 25 or something like that. And it's not because they're not trying, it's because they don't have that confidence and no one is actually seeing that. When I'm working at men, I really start kind of at the core level of like, what were your experiences? What were your past relationships like? like I've had not a lot of men, but a few men that have never been in a relationship and need the tools to build that. I've had other people where there was unfortunately a lot of sexual trauma or abuse and emotional trauma in their past, and having to deal with that first so that you can heal before you start to build that confidence. Once we go through that and everything is good to go, then we focus on, affirmations. A lot of people think affirmations are silly. I personally do affirmations all the time. They do work. I always call it the power of the mind, power of the tongue. When you start to hear yourself say something positive consistently over and over again, it affects you on, I feel like, a cellular level. We may not be hearing that from family, friends, all the other people on the outside, so we have to start to do it to ourselves. I really focus on affirmations, exercising, having them go up to people, talk to them, building a rapport where they can easily say, how do I communicate with someone, and just have a conversation. A lot of people are very shy, and getting that first step of just communicating with people that you don't know, whether it's the bookstore or the coffee shop, is really important, because you can't go from no sex life, no dating, no girls for 5 years and suddenly have the hottest girl that you want and you're, having sex every day. Like, that's not how it's going to be. Building up the ability to communicate with someone else, especially the opposite gender, talking to women, they have homework they have to do every week until they feel comfortable where they can talk to any woman, whether they like them or not, and at least have an effect on that person. It starts with the inner work of the trauma, moving from that to affirmations, having them do exercises in the home, outside of the home, communication skills, all that makes up confidence. A lot of times too, I say when we don't feel great about ourselves, the outside shows. So are you eating right? Are you getting exercise? Are you sleeping? Sleep is really important for our body and our mental health. I'm not a happy camper when I don't sleep. My whole life is, I was like, we can't do anything. I need to go to bed. But I'm also that person that can fall asleep like that. Everyone hates it. I can sleep anytime of any day. Are you taking care of yourself? Setting boundaries for other people too. So, hey, I really need to work on my mental health and my overall health right now. Maybe I can't go out partying 3 times a week. Maybe I need to take care of myself. You'd be surprised what a haircut for a guy can do, an outfit, the right outfit. I mean, you don't think about this, but any guy can look good. Okay, I use this example of Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, before Lauren Sanchez, after Lauren Sanchez, are 2 different people. The way that he carries himself and he looks is very different. I don't know him, obviously, but I'm presuming that he's happy and in love. But, just feeling good about yourself and the outside showing that to the world, it's going to bring you more people looking at you and treating you better. That's just the way the world is. And everybody can be the best that they can be.
What do your homework looks like? One of the things that I'm not, like, again, dating is not, I am more knowledgeable or experienced in, well, we have lived together 20 years. We have been through all this crap together. We have been on the bridge of divorce 20 times. That is familiar to me.
Yeah.
We have built a life together. I'm curious what the homework looks like. I have seen a few that I really did like, and I started doing that. Just conversations with people around, like, call out something nice about them, made them smile.
Yeah.
Something small. I started doing that, and I noticed, it's such a nice thing for both just the person receiving, but for you to go around, hey, I really like your shoes, I really like your shirt.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. I started doing more of that. It feels nice to go to the store and have meeting interactions, and like, that's such an easy way to start. If you're trying to date but you feel like comfortable, you don't have to, hey, how are you, come to bed with me. You can say, hey, nice shoes, such a beautiful day today, and move on. Start tiny.
That's probably the first thing is, definitely going out, giving compliments to people. A lot of it is recognizing what you've done wrong in past relationships. A lot of people don't want to do that. Unfortunately, I have some clients who think they're in a relationship, whether it's an online relationship, meaning they've never met the person. They're my girlfriend and it's been 10 years. And I'm like, no, they're not your girlfriend. So recognizing what's a relationship, recognizing what type of relationship you want. That's probably the hardest part. Exploring other things that aren't necessarily, obviously I run single events, but sometimes I want someone to go out there to just an event. It could be, a concert, video game, whatever, meetup kind of thing. It could be just a social interaction, but it deals with a hobby or something you like. You go from that superficial small talk with people you don't know, whether it's a grocery store or coffee shop, then you go to more cultivated conversations with people that you have stuff in common with. So if you're religious, a church group, or like I said, a video kind of gaming singing group, whatever you're into, running clubs, go there, have your fun and activity, but also start to communicate with the people in the group. So you're building those communication skills. You're going from those superficial ones to more of an in-depth conversation. And then start going to places where it is more likely you'll find someone single. That could be a singles event. It could be a bar, depending on what type of sexual kind of relationship you want. It could be a play party. It could be something a little bit more deeper from those kind of smaller interactions and communication. It's like a building block. And the more you're like, oh, that was easy or that was fun, you keep doing that because we still have to practice that muscle. Then you kind of move up. Most men get stuck with the flirting. They're able to get past the, oh, I can talk to anybody. I've talked to people. I'm like, okay, now go flirt with her. Make her laugh. Make her smile at you. Is her body movement getting closer to you? Are you able to get those cues that this person is interested in you sexually? Because that's literally what all dating and relationships are. Otherwise, we would be friends, right? I mean, some people have sex with their friends. I certainly don't. But most people, if we're talking about a committed monogamous relationship, that is, you have to find someone you're attracted to that also wants to sleep with you or engage in some sexual activity. So we go from those kind of steps to, okay, how many times did you communicate this week? How many times did you flirt with a girl? What happened after that? Are you able to get numbers? Not an email, not an Instagram handle. I know a lot of ladies give that out. If you're serious, you get a number. And then are you able to go on the first date? What happens after that? Every time they're kind of accomplish those things, okay, there's more homework. I always say one level leads to another problem. It's like 1 week, oh my gosh, I got this person's number. I'm so excited. And then they're like, now what? Now we got to start all over again. No one really teaches those skills. A lot of people who are dating consistently for a very long time, they've been dating since they were 15 and they're 32. What have you been doing? You've been doing probably the wrong things and unfortunately cultivated the wrong habits that's getting you the bad results, right? I have to unravel all of that to show you the right way to date and to get results, because it's really a way to get results so that you're happy. A lot of the men I have are more analytical, definitely in the tech field and science. They're still emotional and still want someone that they like and can love, but it's definitely like, just give me the next step. I kind of have that mindset. I feel like that's probably why I gravitate more towards men. I'm also very blunt, which a lot of women don't like. I'm blunt even with myself. That's how I learn. I need someone kind of be like, don't do that. That's horrible. Do that. Some people don't like that style of communication. If you don't like that, you probably shouldn't work with me. I'm sorry. But the people that do like that, they have a certain personality as well. So my goal is to get you into a relationship. That may not be the best relationship ever. It may not end up in marriage. I hope it does. But, if I have someone who hasn't had a date in 3 years and they dated somebody for 6 months, that's pretty good, right? Like, that's a lot of unraveling of behaviorisms that I had to kind of dismantle and build the person back up. It's like RoboCop.
Just to be fair, big parenthesis here. If all you want to do is date and not enter a relationship, that's good for you, and whatever works for you works for you. You're talking right now about people who do want to get in a relationship.
What do you want? Some people want to get married in 3 months, and I was like, good luck with that. You shouldn't be doing that anyway. Like, you shouldn't get married in 2 minutes. But some people want that. Some people just want to find a happy monogamous relationship. Some people want an open relationship. You can define whatever type of relationship that you want. Obviously, as an adult, and as long as it's consenting, it's fine. I would say majority of the men, 78%, want a quote unquote monogamous type relationship. A lot of them want to get married in the future. Doesn't mean they want to get married right now, but they definitely can see that, on the tables as a long-term goal. There's a few people who want more of kind of open relationship or a poly type relationship. I don't personally focus on that, but I definitely focus on just building those communication skills, letting people know what you want. It's always easier when people already know what they want. I would say people that are usually want an open relationship or a poly relationship or anything quote unquote out of the norm, as we would say, of classic monogamy, are usually more upfront. They've had a little bit more life experience. A lot of them have already been married before. I have a completely different side of people who've been divorced and want to get married again. So they're like, oh, I'm fully aware of what I've done before. That didn't work. They have a little bit more leeway. I would say personally, I love gentlemen who've never been married. It's like a clean slate and haven't had as much experience. Just because they haven't had experience, it helps me. It's always easier. It's like a baby. You can start from day one versus a lot of times when people have had 20, 30-year marriages, it's like, oh, we got to take some responsibility of what we've done. That's sometimes a little bit harder to kind of, I don't want to say fix, but just address because that person has so many things that have happened. And again, depending on the type of person, if they're not as positive, maybe they won't want coaching for one thing, but they usually have to be at a place where they're ready to start working on themselves. I mean, you know that with your clients. I can't help anybody that doesn't want to be fixed, and I can't help them do anything unless they do the work. We all have to do our work. I do my own work with my own life as well, like everyone does. Don't do everything that I've done in my life because that's wrong.
So we have had a fun conversations. I'm like, okay, what would a dating life look like if we do separate? We have made each other come up face to face with a lot of things about ourselves that you can only discover when you are in relationship to someone. In some ways, we did the next one a favor. In some other ways, how do you not keep comparing to the person who you live with for over a decade? How do you even match having a whole life? Like we have kids. How do you manage all that? How do I present myself and things like that? And I'm very curious. To you, how do you define flirting? What does that mean to you? Because I think flirting is not just a dating thing. Flirting is such an important skill just in general, even if you are in a committed relationship. How do you define that? What does that look for you? How do you teach people how to flirt?
Thank you for that lovely introduction. So you should be doing that. You should be doing that if you're single. You should probably be doing more flirting if you're not single because we all get into the kind of like, well, we're together. We've been together for this long. I'm good. I'll use the example for my own self, which is pretty relatable. For my own relationship, I make it kind of a thing where every day I have to sext him. I have to do something cute and sexy. It doesn't mean that I have to have sex. People confuse flirting with sex. A lot of people who are married or in committed relationships think, well, you can't flirt with anybody else. I want you to flirt with someone else. I want you to practice those muscles. And I have to be, if you're in a relationship where you're like, hey, we don't have an open relationship and flirting is okay, and I don't see that as cheating, again, depending on your boundaries, I want you to do that so that you can flex that muscle. If you're in a committed relationship, you should be sexting, little touches. I've heard many men say they had relationships with someone where that person never touched them at all. No hands, up against the thigh, just something to let that person know that you're still wanted in that way. It's a look. We all have a look, I say, that people give one another, especially if you've been in that longer term relationship and you know what that look means. So giving that look to that other person, a lot of times when it's unexpected, just those little bitty things that make you go crazy internally, you should be doing consistently every day. Telling someone how much you think they're hot or you love their hair or their boobs or whatever it is. Giving them compliments throughout the day in a sexual manner, however you want to do it. If you're single, we go back to young men, recognizing eye contact. I always say, give somebody direct eye contact and a smile, look away. Don't give them Dexter vibes. You don't want to come off where you look like you're going to chop them in pieces. That's not the vibe we're going for. We want to be a little bit mysterious. We want to look at someone, acknowledge them, smile at them, nod, wink, however you want to do it, that you feel comfortable and not weird. That person's looking at me. Maybe I should smile back. It's very hard to smile at someone and have that person not smile at you. It's contagious. So that's the first thing that you should learn in terms of flirting. And then even the cadence of your voice. As women, when we're excited and we like someone, our voice goes up. They've studied that. It actually gets kind of squeaky and giggly, and just the flip of the hair, the movement. If you're standing next to someone, you start moving close to them, almost childlike. Flirting should be fun. It's almost like a fisherman. You're trying to catch the fish with the net and wheel them in. Are you smiling, winking when you go up to them? How's your body positioning? Are you hovering? You don't want to get too covered where they feel threatened, but you also don't want to be so far away where they're like, do you need something? Having conviction when you talk, especially for the first encounter, it goes a long way. Depending on your type of humor, complimenting someone or saying, things about their outfit, especially for the first kind of one-off with flirting, is a great way to kind of get into that. And then obviously if it's a date, as the date progresses, you can say things a little bit more explicit depending on the comfort level that you're at. But we have to practice doing that. It's more about the other person, not really about us. And it's about, making that person feel wanted and feel desired, and not necessarily, our benefit is seeing them happy and then we'll feel happy. A lot of times we're thinking, I need to flirt with this person so I can get in their pants. Like that's a lot of guys' goal. Like, if I flirt with her the right way, what do I say? And I'm like, I can't tell you exactly what to say with someone that I haven't met, that I don't know. You have to get to know them and make them feel comfortable. Flirting is more about letting somebody feel comfortable and then getting into that groove where you can compliment them, and then depending on your type of humor, get down into that space. Some people are great with just saying something very inappropriate, and it may work with some people, but most of these gentlemen can't do that. So it's definitely just getting them comfortable enough to get into that close enough space next to another person, and really just, making that person feel great about themselves, and then actually start to, get to know them more. Flirting's very complex. It's much better the longer you get to know someone. It's a lot harder, with guys who are like, well, these guys just are able to just score and get numbers. And I'm like, well, that person could just want to have sex. Like, like the women could just want to get laid, and that's fine too. This is not a way to get into a relationship if that's the goal. I feel flirting a lot of times, like you said, we don't think of it in long-term relationships. It's not a skill that you can just do once and never do again. I mean, we even flirt in business. If you like someone, the cadence of your voice is different. The conversation is faster. If you've ever talked to someone in a workspace where you're like, oh, I hate this person. I don't like them. I don't like the way they look at me. You're so turned off. And it's such a harder conversation. Flirting is easy when it's someone that you naturally just want to be around. It should be kind of that like tug and war where we're both doing it kind of at the same time, because a lot of people have been single for so long. It's not that easy because the other person may not be flirting at all. They're like, I don't even know if this person likes me.
There's such a difference because we know we have permission with each other.
Yeah.
To go to those events, you start getting out there. But I know that all I want to do is this. So it feels like a waste of time. If you never go anywhere, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah. I always say this isn't Uber Eats. I can't drop ship your person who's sexually aroused, ready to go, ready to be in a relationship with you at your door. I wish we could, but we can't do that. So that's the work. Nobody wants to work. No one wants to get out there, and you have to increase the social skills so much. Also, you're getting all that energy from all these other people that you're around. I've seen it where people are in a room and they come in and they're just like shy in the corner, and by the end of the night, I'm like, it's time to go, and they're like, oh, I'm fine, you could go. I don't need to see you, I'm hanging out with these people. Or they find other people to hang out, in that space, or they go somewhere else and hang out with other people. They've gotten out of their shell. They feel excited. I call it a little bit sexual sparks. When somebody is just happy to be around someone else that they got to have a conversation with, you start seeing sparkly. It's just kind of natural when you're being a little bit doted on or praised in some way, especially when we talk about like dating apps. You're not going to get that through a dating app. The dating apps are perfect in the sense of they're giving you the opportunity to meet people. Now go meet them. You're not supposed to stay on the app. You get on the app, you find so-and-so, you got 10 people that want to go out with you. Now go out with them. We have people who are like, I've been on this app for 8 months and it doesn't work. And I'm like, it works. It's just you. You have to literally talk to them and go out. You're not supposed to talk to them every day like it's this virtual relationship living in this digital pod. Humans aren't made for that. We're made to interact with people in the physical sense. Again, that's why COVID, I think, was really devastating for so many people, and we got used to that. But you have to have that physical connection with other people and just being in that kind of physical space. But yeah, you got to get out there if you are single, because that's the only way to meet someone.
Have you had that chance to see your clients' changes in real life?
Yeah. I know who they are, obviously, when they come to the event. They don't come all the time. I've used the events as a lead generation to get clients, and then sometimes it goes the other way. Get a client and they'll be like, well, do you have somewhere for me to go? And I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I do. Go to this. So I'll see the progression as we go along. I've had people who were clients who got into relationships from events and they were never in relationships before or just hadn't had that experience with relationships. It's happy for me to see. I see the confidence building. I see them not be as timid and shy. A lot of people are really hurting. Being single is great if you're happy and it's a choice that you're making. But for a lot of people, it is not a choice. It's because no one has picked them. And that really hurts. You know, it's like being back in school where no one picks you for dodgeball or something. It's hurtful. Experiencing that hurt over and over again wears down on people. Seeing that kind of very hurt person thinking that no one really cares about them, finally getting that feeling back where, hey, people do care about me. I am going to find someone. Women are going to like me again is a very nice thing to see. So it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it's a beautiful thing to see. I will say very briefly that I have been getting requests for online stuff, which is interesting because of people's schedules. You know, like people have very different schedules than they did many years ago. My partner, my fiance, he's a dad. A lot of dads who had kids by their first marriages, they are in custody. Is a certain day of the week, which I guess is standard. I didn't know. I thought it was just him. And then I realized that was my most popular day for events with men because a lot of them didn't have their kids that day. So I was like, oh, I never thought about that. Things like that you wouldn't think about, especially when you're dealing with, you know, people who have children, single parents, divorced parents. They may not have the ability to get out of the house as easily as some other people. People who just have really high demanding careers. A lot of people who have disabilities, whether it's physical or otherwise, they may not be able to get out of the house as well. I'm getting more of those requests, as well as people who don't really care where the person lives. I have events in different cities, and I got to the point where I'm like, do you guys care where people are? And they're like, we don't care. We'll travel for the right person. As far as even internationally, people don't care. Some people don't. If you have the luxury where you can travel and the finances, that's another thing that I'm working on for later, is kind of building more online ways for people to meet different cities and even different countries.
We're different one of those people. We're not working, we're with the kids, and we homeschool our kids. So that means that the kids are always with one of us. Having to commit your free time to that one thing. If I was somebody looking for something, then knowing that, oh, I may invest this amount of time and whatever and not get anything in return, that can be crushing. I want to make sure that we spend some time talking about kink. Love when you say power of the mind, power of the thumb. I think like kinky and being able to use your words or to write them down, to just having the power of words to create something is such an amazing thing, and it's just so fucking sexy when you know how to use it for your sexual arousal.
When they think about kink or people who are interested in kink or the kink community in general, there's that misconception of they're weird people, something's wrong with them, which I feel like every person I've met in that community is probably the most sane person I've ever met. I'm like, I know some crazy people, but it's not in this community. I don't know what they're talking about. My communication skills, just from my own personal experience in kink, have improved because I was able to be more confident, and I had to work on my own confidence. For a long time, I wasn't very confident. I was very shy. I'm still naturally a shy person. I just can overcome it now a little bit faster than I used to. And when I started to learn more about kink through education and classes and workshops, this was like 15 years ago, it helped me be more vocal about what I wanted and what I didn't want. And not just in relationships, I think in general. So there's no confusion. And anytime I have confusion, it's because I didn't voice my opinion. I was like, I didn't say that clear enough where the other person understood what I wanted and what I didn't want. That's one of the number one benefits of being in kink and actually using it not just for your own sexual pleasure or other people's pleasure, but for your daily life. It becomes a part of you. Some of the things that we focus on in kink, whether it's communication and boundaries, you take that with you. I've never met someone that was in the kink community or was a kinky person that wasn't very clear in their boundaries in their daily life. It's helped me not only professionally, but personally, even outside of any kind of sexual experience, because I've been able to be much more direct and clear about what I want and what I don't want, which I think is just a benefit that everybody can have if they're interested in kink. I hope everybody's interested in kink, but some people aren't. And that's okay too.
Kink is so personal. Like, listening to this conversation can be kinky for you. If you're not used to it, then this is totally new. And, an addition that you typically wouldn't have accepted in your life. What comes to any conversation skill, but specifically when it comes to sexual communication, just developing the art of observing yourself and your partners, being able to talk about this is what I like, explore, learn to pause, learn to notice like what is changing and learn to put it into words. That is such an underrated sexual skill. You need to know how to listen to your body and your partners. That is the basic of enjoying pleasure.
It's shocking that I feel most people, I'm sure you're very aware of this, most people are not aware of their bodies. They're not aware of their own sexual health, sexual wellness, sexual pleasure. They're not aware of anything. People have a disconnect with that, whether it's, because they've been traumatized or they're just avoiding it or have had bad experiences. But a lot of people are easy with it, just communicating that. I feel like a lot of times, especially when you talk about even the dating scene, you have enough stress worrying about, am I saying the right things? Are we going the right place? Do I text them every day? Like, what do I do? Let alone when I'm like, okay, you have to remember, have a conversation about sex. Like, have a conversation about what you like, what you don't like, STD health. Like, all that has to come out. I always tell people, hopefully sooner than later. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone where I'm like, oh, I'm into all this stuff. And they're like, nope. And that's a strong no. And I'm like, well, we got to go somewhere else, right? When do I even bring that up? You need to be bringing that up the moment you think you're going to be intimate with this person. Don't be waiting 7 dates in and be like, by the way, I'm into XYZ. What about you? You've passed that point where maybe that person doesn't like anything that you like. That part is really disheartening, because I would hope, especially in today's society, that we would be talking about these things. Even first date, like, I don't want to be on a first date with someone and they are not communicating that. That's a red flag for me. I was grateful that my fiance was very open. We talked about a lot of things when we first met. And we really got to know each other. And I always tell people, get to know each other, start talking more than just doing other things. Before you get physical, have all these conversations. And then if you want to get physical, it's fine. But people don't do that. And that's where a lot of that confusion and a lot of sexual experiences arise that way. And that's really sad.
And the conversation can change with the years. Things you absolutely must know if we're gonna keep doing this conversation. The conversation I will have had to do today is so different. We took the BDSM test and compared the results, and I got annoyed because of the things that were completely opposite. Like, I was so mad. Like, it was not sexy or fun. Coming to face, like, you cannot have this in this relationship.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then that will happen in many other areas of your life. Like, are enough of your needs that you can grieve the ones that you don't have, and that's okay with you? Do you trust each other enough to come to the table when that's not the case anymore? Because things totally change with the years. I'm still getting used to that. Like, not be passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Just speak up. Like, it hasn't been too much time without sex for you, then you need to speak up. You cannot just get mad about this other thing and be a bitch about it. What would you say about people who are dating because they want to explore? Hey, I don't even know what I like. I haven't had the chance to explore. I don't want to get in a relationship. Maybe not right now. Right now, all I want to do is meet people, be kinky, feel myself out.
Perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. I make jokes about this, but I always say, especially with people who are coming out of long-term relationships and they're newly single, I'm like, you do not need a committed relationship right now. If you just ended a marriage or a long-term partnership, you need to have fun however long you want it to be. You want it to be 3 weeks, fine. You want it to be 6 months, a year, whatever is good for you, and you'll know when you're like, I'm done. But you need to have that time to explore, your sexual pleasures, your if you want to do multiple partners, whatever you want to do, you need to have that time to explore, because most likely you probably were in a relationship where sex was not a priority, or it was a priority at one point and then it went down to the bottom. And that could have been like that for years and you kind of just accepted it. And then once it ended, you're like, okay, I'm free. It's like prison. I'm breaking out of prison. I can finally experience all the things that you want to do. And I tell those people, get with partners who also understand that. Be very clear that, hey, I just went through this. I'm not ready for that, but I'm ready to explore all these different types of sexualities that I want to explore that I've never had the chance to. I always say, try something once until you're like, yep, that's definitely not for me. Then you'll find what is for you, and that's okay. But don't get into a committed relationship right after that, because it's going to be very hard. You're going to make kind of the same mistakes over. And you're not going to give, I call it, your sexual soul the time to experience all the things that you want to experience and even heal from the time that you didn't get to do that. I call it the hoe phase. Everyone needs a little bit of a hoe phase after a breakup. If you stay too long, then you just become a hoe, but don't do that. Well, you need some time period where it's all about you, your sexual pleasure, and what you want and what you don't want. I always tell people, like, let everybody around you know, so they're not like, what's going on with this person, you know? Because you're a different person now. You're not the same person you were before that experience, so that people aren't uncomfortable. And if they don't like it, get new friends. You'll be fine.
And if you're in a relationship, you're not too late to just do all that with yourself and your person. That doesn't stop you from trying things out. I have seen a few of the posts about Monday nights. What's that about?
Monday is Makeout Mondays. It is a weekly online virtual call. So if anyone wants to come, they can come and ask me questions, whether it's about their dating life, relationships, sex, intimacy. It's basically all the stuff that you want to ask me that I cannot answer on social media because of censorship. It's my time and kind of a gift to people who just kind of want to ask me questions about those different areas. And it also gives them a chance to hear my answers, get to know me a little bit. I get to know them a little bit. And then if they want to be a client, great. If they don't, they can take a course. If they don't want to do that, then come to an event. Somehow they'll get something if they don't want anything else. But a lot of times people will come because they do just have a question. They'll get people who just are really shy on Instagram and my DMs and want to send me a question, and I'll just send them a little video note later and be like, hey, this is the answer. I feel that happens a lot. People sometimes are just really shy about sex, relationships, and dating, and we all have the same problems. I've never heard of a problem where I was like, oh, I've never heard, no one's ever had that before. We all want the same things, essentially. So I feel that too helps people realize, oh, I'm not alone, and I'm struggling with this, because none of us learned this. 18 years when we were in school until if we went off, higher learning after that, great. But we didn't learn this. No one learned how to be a sexual being in a relationship, or how to date, or how to do anything with another partner, especially for the rest of our lives. Like, I know I didn't, and I know my parents didn't teach me that. We're all in this together. Everybody wants to be loved.
What can people expect?
It's not a packed bar. You will not get 75 people. This is not Tinder. I don't have 100 people for you to talk to. And if I did, that would be very uncomfortable for someone that has not dated in a long time. But you will get to communicate and have a date with different people. I would say majority of the people are professional. They're well-rounded. They have a home. They have a career. I rarely have psychos or people claiming that they're something they're not. But for the most part, they're good people. And they just haven't had time to date, or haven't had the right space to date, or been nervous or shy, or just been out of the dating scene. A lot of people have just not had the opportunity to be in the dating scene to find a partner. You will get the camaraderie and the community of people like you. And if you are nervous, it's definitely non-judgmental. Like, I try to make it fun, and no pressure. Come as you are. It's definitely very low key, and don't be afraid.
Yeah, one of the things I hear often is the worry that the people that go there are gonna be whatever.
Yeah.
There is something so wrong with them that they need it. And it's the same thing that they feel about themselves. There's something so wrong with me that I need to go to an event that's specifically for this.
Yeah, and that's not, I don't think there's anything wrong with the people that I have. I think the only thing that's wrong is they, like I said, either have dedicated their life to something else. It could be, a lot of people are very into their career, which is nothing wrong. A lot of people have had family issues or children or just something else that took the highest priority of their life, and they didn't have the time to find someone, or they had long-term relationships that ended. Yes, there are a few people who are socially a little bit awkward, but I always say, I'd rather take the socially awkward guy who makes $275,000 a year and is stable, is a good-hearted person, kind, and ready. They're ready for relationships. I would say majority of the people are ready to date, versus you may go somewhere else and they're not looking to date. That doesn't mean that the first time you go, you're going to find your perfect match. It's like with anything, numbers, you have to get out there as much as possible, and eventually you'll find the right person for you. But you also have to be realistic. If you're coming with the expectation, I always tell ladies that Michael B. Jordan will be there. He's not there. Okay. I'm not saying he doesn't need help, but he's not there. But if you're coming with the expectation, I'm going to find, a cute guy who's funny, has a great career, and is ready to be in a relationship, then yeah, you'll probably meet 5 or 10, whatever, 15 of those. We all have our fantasies. That fantasy may not be there. Pick your top 2. Are you looking for someone that is very career driven and well off, but also fun to be around? Great. But you're not going to have everything in one person. And I feel like a lot of times people who haven't dated for a long time, I mean, we're both in relationships. Nobody's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. We're human. We're flawed. You're not going to get everything in one person. And if you're looking for that, you're going to be looking forever, because that doesn't exist.
Have you had the chance yet to watch the series Dying for Sex?
Yes, I've watched that.
The dating thing there was so amazing. Anything you want to leave people with if they were to take one thing from you?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the scenes with I don't want to spoil this for people, but I will say the thing that stayed with me is it's kind of sad sometimes that we have to be faced with our own mortality to experience sexual pleasure. That was kind of the big thing for me. Would this person have changed and opened themselves up for different sexual experiences had she not been diagnosed with terminal cancer? And sometimes, I know a lot of people who have unfortunately passed from cancer or terminal diseases, and a lot of times we need that to change our whole life around. I want people to realize you don't need that necessarily. You can experience the things that you want to experience in your own sexuality and find pleasure without having to wait till the last moment. That is literally what life is for. Life is for our own happiness, as well as giving our gifts to the world, but also finding pleasure. What would be the point of being here if it's not pleasurable? I don't want to live a life like that. And there's no time limit on that. You don't have to be 20 and be the sexual goddess. There are people 80, 90 having great sex and have great sexual experience. That doesn't stop as you get older, as our bodies change, whether we gain weight, lose weight. As women, we have children, no children. You can find pleasure throughout your whole life. You don't have to wait until you're faced with the end. I felt that was really important, that we don't have that regret of not experiencing, that sexual pleasure and happiness, and giving yourself like a chance to let go so that you can be happy. So many people are kind of holding on, whether it's to trauma or something that affected them, and it's stopping them from really being themselves and finding new things and being happy. A long time ago, I ran a grief group when I was a therapist, and there was a lot of conversations about regret, about things that they wish they had done with the person that had died. That was one of the very eye-opening experiences of that. This was like 7 years ago, and I still carry that with me, because everyone's like, how could you do that? It had to be very depressing, but it wasn't. It was really eye-opening experience for myself, just to see the connection of how people grieve differently, but also it taught me more about life. We need to hold space that we can actually change the way we view our lives. No matter what has been done to us, it's how we interact with the world. We can only control ourselves. We can't control what happens to us.
Thank you so much for sharing the time with me today.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun.